Representative, welcome back to the program here. I want to ask you the pulse of rural Republicans right now, because they've been voting with Democrats, and we have 2 weeks left in the session. Where do you think this thing's going to go?
Well, it's great to be back with you. I think that the Democrats, the overwhelming, almost unanimous Democrats and the rural Republicans are going to kill vouchers in this third call special session by Governor Abbott. As you know, it's already passed in the Senate. It passed in the Senate during the regular session, but the House is holding firm. I don't believe that there's going to be any budget on the pressure from Governor Abbott or Lieutenant Governor Patrick or anybody else to get us to move and pass vouchers during this third call special session.
And Representative, the Texas Black Legislative Caucus and the NAACP have both been outspoken on this within the last week or so. What are some of the negative impacts you think the Senate bill has?
Well, first of all, the $8,000 voucher is a scam. I mean, basically, what they want to do is divert money, our public tax dollars, to help subsidize private school tuition for the wealthy and the well-off and the well-to-do. Texas ranks 43rd in per pupil spending right now. We are very near the bottom. We cannot afford to take money, the precious money that we have, out of our public schools to educate all kids, disabled, English as a second language, whoever it is. This is a scam to basically subsidize the wealthy. And so basically the Senate bill as it's presented, or any voucher, is a scam that really simply siphons off money from our public schools and allows people who can already afford to send their kids to private schools. It subsidizes that. Poor people can't afford to pay, even if you give them a $8,000 vouchers. Most average private schools are at least $15,000. So where are the families going to come up with the other portions of the money? Private schools don't have to take disabled students. They don't have to take students. They can discriminate. They can say, hey, we don't want Johnny, but we'll take Sue. So public schools have to educate everybody. It's the great equalizer. Our public schools are our foundation for success, especially people who come from lower socioeconomic backgrounds.
Do you see any way at all that Democrats could get behind the governor's plan for school vouchers?
Unequivocally not. The governor has been clever to say, hey, if you guys pass vouchers, you can get teacher pay. We want our teachers to get a pay raise, and we are very desperate because our teachers are woefully underpaid. But if it means passing vouchers, then we won't do it. So there's no compromise. We will not compromise by any means for vouchers in this special session, in the next special session, in another special session. We're hard line knows there's no compromise, there's no deal.
Well, teacher pay raise is a big deal. What are teachers saying there in Fort Bend County and Harris County, where you represent?
Well, we've talked to teachers. Teachers definitely are very frustrated with the low funding and the lack of pay. They do more with less. However, when you say, well, hey, would you be willing to accept vouchers if we give you a teacher a pay raise? And they say unequivocally no. The Texas American Federation of Teachers, AFT, the Texas State Teachers Association, they've all come out on the record and said, hey, if teacher pay is tied to vouchers, then we don't want it. So teachers are saying, do not use us as sacrificial lamb. Governor Abbott, this is wrong. You need to have a standalone bill that allows us to appropriately fund our teachers. We have a record $33 billion surplus in our budget. There's no excuse for us to continue to woefully underpay our teachers. This is unfortunate, but this is failed leadership by Governor Abbott. And I think the MAGA Republicans, because the rural Republicans aren't going along with this.
Do you think any of the rural Republicans will switch or have switched?
I don't think so. I've had discussions with many of them, and they're holding firm, even under the threat of having primaries. Filing for re-election is coming up in November, and they've been threatened with primary opponents. Right now, the Republican Party is in disarray. We've seen the Speaker, the Lieutenant Governor publicly feuding. Those who voted to impeach Paxton or be in primary. And so they know that they're going to be targeted anyway because many of them voted to impeach Paxton. And so this is a bloody, bloody civil war. It's not just happening in D.C. with a failed speaker vote. It's happening right here in Texas. And I'm hoping that people will put partisan politics before, and be statesmen and do what's best for Texans. And the rural Republicans right now, they seem to be holding very firm.
Listen, the governor says, I'm going to keep calling special sessions until we get this done. How do you think this is all going to end, especially with next year being an election year?
Well, you're right. I mean, the primary election is March, and Governor Abbott, by the Constitution, can keep calling 30-day special sessions all the way through Election Day. He can do that, but I don't think that's going to change the course. I think that many of I can tell you for a fact, our Legislative Black Caucus and the House Democratic Caucus stands very firm. There may be a few exceptions, but for the most part, they're nowhere near the votes that they need to pass vouchers in the House. They need 76 votes. Right now, I believe they have, 50 something. So they're well short of the votes they need to pass this bill. I don't think governors' veiled attempts at calling special session and special session and special session is going to change the outcome, because people understand that this will decimate their local public schools, and they aren't willing to sacrifice that if it means that they have to continue to show up and come back. Then that's the duty that we are taking for our constituents. We will fight for the future of public education.
Let me ask you about one of your colleagues, Barbara Gervin Hawkins from San Antonio, Democrat there. She told us a couple of weeks ago that she thinks that vouchers can pass and not impact public education. What do you think about that?
Well, I respectfully disagree. I have a lot of respect for Barbara. She's a member of my caucus. Our caucus took a vote. We voted unanimously that we were against vouchers by any means. And we had a democratic process. Representative Barbara Gervin Hawkins was there, and she voted against vouchers. So, I have a lot of respect for her. We'll continue to work through this. I hope that she will be with the rest of the caucus members and the rest of the House Democrats in voting no. But she has to vote her district, and she has to vote her conscience. But I believe that vouchers are bad for Texans. They're bad for African Americans. They're bad for Hispanics. They're bad for the poor. They're bad for the future of the state. Other states that have passed vouchers, they have been really disappointed with the outcome, because only the wealthy and the well-off were able to benefit from that subsidy, what I call corporate welfare. I mean, they can already afford it, and it hurt their neighborhood public schools. So Representative Gervin Hawkins, I think if she's in support of vouchers, which I hope she isn't, then I think that she would be on the wrong side of this issue.
Representative, we appreciate the time. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.